Welcome everyone to another video, and today we're looking at the Iberian War. Why is it called Iberian War? Because as you can see, Portugal has decided to invade our good old friend. Just kidding, it's actually the other way around. Yeah. Our good old friend, you know who, has decided that Portugal is occupying its lands for too long now and wants them back. Our good old friend over here doesn't want to give them back. And so began the war. We see that forces from Spain will start to make it into these areas. This is the first and second reclamation army that are pushing in these areas. They are part of Army Group 1. And the armies are going to, well, kinda be different. So this is the reclamationary army group. Over here is the central army group, and then we have the southern army group. Speaking of the southerns, they have made it into these areas. Yeah, and Portugal has managed to stop them around its first defensive line, which is quite long, but in the north it kind of lacks. But the encirclement over here doesn't take anything into, doesn't result in anything. What we do see happening is that the Portugals, being fascist, will call in their secret fascist pact, meaning our good old friend yes, well, not them, they are not like that. But we see these nations, being their fascist pact, just come in and help them. And yeah, we also see somebody else coming into the war, and this causes our good old friend over here to panic, called good old friend being you know who. And good old buddy, how is it going? Why are you retreating like hell? You can't do anything about this. You can retreat, but you won't be able to survive. Yeah, we see this happening. Most of the forces over here will be diverted to defending the invaded areas of Catalonia and Basque. And the Basque country will be told that they will be liberated if they help them, and the Basque people will help them regardless of being well, propagandized. Yeah, they're getting a lot of propaganda in their like daily news, and they're like not buying it at all. And eventually, before these guys managed to fully pull out, this was the lands that was gained. But it was pushed back to around these lands. Also, there was a small amount of people that managed to snake around the coast and kind of push them back over here, which threatened them for some reason. Who knows why? We also see that finally that this country allows forces to go through it, and what? We see that the red team will manage to land a few forces over here, pushing out the forces over here and taking over these lands. Spoiler alert, that doesn't last for a while, as they're going to be pushed back, and Spain calls in its first ally. And yeah, Britain, good buddy, old pal. How's it going? Yeah, our friend over here, Britain, has decided to pull in another nation, the Netherlands. They made a small pact with them that if these guys went to war, Netherlands would help them. And the forces from both countries, all of these countries will kind of do stuff. We see red team troops start to push back into these areas, forces from Spain and England starting to arrive in the coast, and we see a large amount of land being taken. And eventually we see a small pocket being made that gets pushed out into the sea. And eventually northern Portugal kinda gets taken. So northern Portugal falls. Portugal decides to take all its troops and defend Lisbon with its life. All of its forces, naval forces, aerial forces, all of them are over here. And eventually it comes down to the last battle, which is going to be taking place for a while, as we see a miracle happening for somebody, and that is for the Portugals, because their allied forces have managed to push back into the kind of non-fascist neo something nation of, you know who. And Spain will be quite surprised about this breakthrough, and this eventually will break into Valencia's area. I won't be putting Valencia on the map because I don't want to put them, but Catalonia will eventually decide to join the enemies, and we see that finally Red Team troops from all over the north will arrive in mass over here and start to push back the enemy. They will also manage to reach the capital of Madrid right before the fascists do, and they will manage to push back the fascists into these areas. And we also see that all of these areas will kind of be taken. The blue team is winning very well, and blue team naval forces have managed to land on these islands and take them, giving them a very good foothold, which they use to push into these areas. And it's around this time that it's declared that Madrid won't win this war, even though they're like outnumbering all of these nations with these guys. England and the Netherlands are like, yo, this is kind of pointless. Why did we join this? And the pact that Netherlands made will be declared void, and they won't join it anymore. So Netherlands, the Dutch forces will begin to pull out of the Dutch lands. Well, not Dutch lands, but yeah. London will decide to tell its forces to abandon Madrid and come back home. And a lot of them will be happy, but a few that were hardcore fans of, defending these guys won't be as friendly towards the people who came back, not even their own sons. And we'll see that Lisbon will manage to push back in a major force or show of force against the Spaniards. And we'll see that the Spaniards will be pushed back severely into their own capital, where they hold off all of the forces before being encircled. This is what happens to Madrid. They managed to hold off the front of the forces over here, but they failed to defend their supply lines, and Madrid is isolated. Radio towers are cut, satellites over here are blocked, and radio interference is thrown into the thing. And we see that Hispanic forces. Oh my god, that's too much. We see forces. We see fascist forces managing to push in the most of Madrid. Well, not Madrid, but northern Spain. And the forces over here that are left, what's left of this nation that was forced to exist with, being invaded and take over. These guys were told that they can be like they are, and the only thing they need to do is kind of surrender, and they did. And it's around also this time that we see most of southern Spain's fall, and then all of the front over here gets overrun. And eventually this will culminate in the Battle of Madrid, which will see that the capital of Spain, Madrid, will be entered, the president will be shot, and the nation will fall over. Let's look at a peace treaty. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys very much like this, I'm going to make more videos like this. Currently I've been on a streak of what videos, and it has been quite fun, but I don't really want to make too many of them. So yeah. Okay, let's get straight into this, which is Gibraltar gaining their independence, and they're going to be around these areas. Yeah, like this. Gibraltar is going to gain their independence, and they're going to gain all of this. The southern Hispanic country will gain these lands, and Galicia will gain their independence, only with a slight loss of land, as they kinda were part of Spain before, so yeah. We see that Portugal will decide that they want these lands. There was a nation over here that spoke a lot of different languages, so yeah. Portugal will manage to take over all of these areas, managing to kinda force their own ideology on what's left of this area, and we see that these areas are given over to Portugal, and we see that Basque country will manage to regain their independence, but in a lesser state. Catalonia will get their independence, as they have wanted it for a while, and Madrid is not happy about this. They are very mad about this. But what can you do against the people who invaded you and kind of took over your lands and stuff? Eventually, it will be decided that this nation is too unstable by itself, and it will be given over to, Galicia. We see that our good friends over here in Portugal will decide to kinda annex all of the navy of Madrid that was kinda left. And Madrid will be made into the Central Hispanic, Central or something. I don't know how to speak Spanish. But what happens is that many lands from Spain will be converted into new nations, and eventually we see that the collapse of Spain will happen. That means many nations will pop up, and the biggest one of them will be Valencia, who will take over all of these areas, and promise that one day they will reform this great Spanish Empire. Speaking of the Spanish Empire, that won't happen for them. But it's around this time that two mad scientists as they are called, mad scientists, will start to change the universe for some reason, somehow. And it kind of results in something else. And one nation in particular will take notice of this. Our good friends, the Swiss, and they will decide to give these men a lot of money in response to them making them the Swiss a weapon. And the weapon will be called the Time Manipulator. And this will be the end of this video. See you guys next time.